All right, sound check. All right, so this has been a long time coming. This is something that ConnorSapphire asked me to do months ago. Problem is, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I just locked on to the wrong thing when it came to this commander. So what he wanted me to do, he uh, he used to on a regular basis offer me a legendary card and ask me, well, how would you build around this? What would you do? And usually I would turn around within a week. Well, Shilgengar here, it took a long time because I locked on to the blood tokens, which I shouldn't have. And I don't use blood tokens in any of my decks. I don't really see any support for them. Okay, so they loot your library. Great, so I can rummage through my library. Oh, what the hell am I going to do with that? But then I was looking at it more, and I thought, okay, why don't I approach this instead of a blood token deck? Instead of looking at that, why don't I look at the angels? Why didn't I build something around that? So that's what I did. Right, let's get into it. Silungar, Sire of Famine. Shilgengar, Sire of Famine, rather. 3 black black for a 6/6 legendary flying elder demon. Sack another creature, create a blood token. Fantastic. And then what are you going to do with it? But if you sacrifice an angel this way, create a number of blood tokens equal to its toughness instead. Hmm. Okay, that's more interesting. 3 white or 3 black hybrid. Sacrifice 6 blood tokens. Return every creature in your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. I don't like finality counters, but returning everything at instant speed, it doesn't say only as a sorcery at the end of your turn. None of that. Instant speed. And they become vampires. Okay, that part I'm not doing anything with. I'm not doing anything with the vampire bit. But so what you can do is you can sacrifice a bunch of creatures over the course of the game rather than seeing them in exile or whatever. And once you have 6 blood tokens, you can empty the pits, bring everything back out of the graveyard for only 3 mana and 6 blood tokens. Everyone comes back. That is a creature card. And if you do that at the end of the turn of the opponent preceding you, you have a fresh army of flying crazy bitches ready to go. And who doesn't love a flying army of crazy bitches? I mean, that's fantastic. You can beat the shit out of people with those. Right, so let's get down to it. Who are the crazy bitches? Okay, we got Chroma here, Angel of Wrath. 5 triple white, 8 mana. 8 mana. She was a house back in the day. That was 20 years ago, maybe longer. A long time ago, Chroma was, when she was spoiled, everybody was, wow, do you see what she does? And then Darksteel Colossus, wow, do you see what it does? And the Base Layer Angel, wow. And where are those cards now? Nowhere. They're junk rares. Nobody plays with them. So let's play with them. So Achroma. For 8 mana, you get a 6/6 flying first strike, trample, haste, texture black, texture red, vigilant angel. We're not really planning on spending 8 mana. When I get to the artifacts, I'll explain. Then we have Angelic Field Marshal, 2 white white for a 3/3 angel flying. She is Silgengar's lieutenant. As long as you have Silgengar, I'm going to mangle that name a lot, I'm sure. As long as that bastard's on the field, she gets +2/+2, and your other creatures have vigilance. So she helps. Angelic Guardian. You're going to notice that a lot of these angels have 5 and higher casting cost. It's just the nature of the beast. Some of the lower casting cost angels, like Segovian Angel, I just threw in because you need some early creature somehow. And odds are you're not going to get a creature down until turn 3, turn 4, if you're lucky. So we have to cheat them into play. Again, when I get to the artifacts, so I'll explain it. So 4 white white for a 5/5 fly. Oh, they all fly. I don't think there's any doubt. I'm going to quit saying flying unless they don't fly, which I think they all do. So I'm going to quit mentioning that. Whenever one or more creatures you control attack, they gain indestructible until the end of the turn. That sounds pretty useful. Angelic Skirmisher. Again, 6 mana, same mana cost, 4 white white, for 4/4 angel. Beginning of every combat, choose first strike, vigilance, lifelink. Your creatures gain that ability till end of turn. Now, that's every combat. So in your combat, you probably want vigilance because you want blockers. On your opponent's combats, you might want first strike so you kill the creatures, or you might want lifelink so you gain life. It's up to you. Anyway, she should be good in here. Angel combination. Let's go back down to 4 mana. 2 white white for an angel that's, some of them natively have vigilance. Some of them get vigilance if you jump through hoops. Some of them don't have vigilance at all unless you do jump through the hoops. So anyway, she's a 3/3, 2 and a white, exile another target creature. Turn it to the battlefield under its own control at the beginning of the next end step. So with her, you can flicker something interesting, or on your side, or you can flicker something on your opponent's side that to reset it. For example, if they have some giant fucking Tyrannid, some 22/22 Trampler that's only a 3/3 except for all the, you can reset it so all the counters go away. Poof, gone, no more counters for you. And then you can exert her again, 2 white tap, exile another target creature until she leaves the battlefield. So you can start picking off your opponent's creatures as long as you keep her in play. When we get down to consideration, I was thinking of ways of giving her indestructible to make it so she'll stick around longer. But I had to cut things. The deck is pretty tight. But anyway, the first flicker ability, that should be highly useful. For example, if you get down Angel of Despair, who costs 7 mana, 3 double white, double black, 5/5 flyer. When she hits the field, you blow up a permanent. Any permanent. It doesn't say non-land. So somebody has Cabal Coffers that's bothering you. Somebody has, you have My Hollow that's bothering you. Whatever's bothering you, you can get rid of it. Planeswalker, creature, artifact. She doesn't care. She just comes to play and she's pissed off that you brought her out of the void and she wants to destroy something. So let her do it. Angel of Grace. 3 white white for a 5/4 flashy flyer. Yeah, I said I wouldn't mention flying, but oh well. When she comes into play, until in turn, damage have reduced your life total to less than 1. She's worship. She's a flashy 1-turn worship. Except she doesn't require to have a creature. So even if she dies, that ability would still go on the stack, and if your life total would go down below 1, it goes to 1 instead. Okay, so kind of useful. 5 mana is a lot to keep up, though. 4 white white. Exile her from your graveyard. Your life total becomes 10. Okay, so she can pump you back up out of lightning bolt range. Battle Angles of Deer. 2 white white for an angelic knight with myriad. When this bastard deals combat damage to a player, draw a card if that player has more cards in hand than each other player. Then you create a treasure token if that player controls more lands than each other player. Then you gain 3 life if that player has more life than each other player. And myriad is, when this attacks, you create a token copy of it that's attacking all your opponents. So in a 4-man game, you have 3 opponents. Each of them is going to get attacked with the Battle Angels tier. And any one of them gets through, if any of those conditions are met, you get a bonus. You get some value. Baneslayer Angel, because why not? 3 white white, 5/5 flying, first strike, lifelink, protection demons, protection dragons. In Commander, that can be relevant. And remember, changelings have all creature types. So if somebody's attacking with a big changeling, she can block it and has protection from it. Evson, Angel of Hope, another 8 mana huge creature. But instead of only being a 6/6, she's an 8/8 for 8. She's got vigilance. And she says her and all your other stuff is indestructible. That's not as cool as it used to be. She used to be a fucking house. She used to be, you put down Avacyn Angel of Hope, and people are like, okay, how do I deal with this? All this stuff's indestructible now. This sucks. But now with all the exile bullshit, she's not the same threat she used to be, but she's still a major threat in this deck. Archangel of Tides. 1, triple white for a 3/5 angel. As long as she's untapped, creatures can't attack you or planeswalker control unless they pay 1 for each of those creatures. And if she's attacking, creatures cannot block unless the controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So she taxes your opponent when she attacks, and she taxes them when they want to attack you. So it's good to give her vigilance. So there's some different angels here you saw that give all your angels vigilance, and she likes it. So when she attacks, the tax still triggers. It's not when she taps; it's just when she's attacking. So keep that in mind. Archangel Lethune. I like this version. I want to get this version. It's expensive though. It ain't cheap. Look at this. They say 100 euros. It's not 100 euros. They're out of their fucking mind. It's not that much. Or maybe that's just the foil. Because I looked at it yesterday and it was only, there are copies to be had for 30, 40 euro. Didn't buy one though because there's other cards that I wanted. So anyway, 3 white for a 3/4 lifelinker. Okay. Not great stats. When you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on every creature you control. Okay, that's kind of nice. And since you have so many ways of gaining life, you can bank your team pretty big pretty quickly. Angel Vitality. Okay, so she's not that great, but you need some lower mana cost creatures. She fits the bill at 3 mana, 2 and a white for a 2/2. And if you gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. And if you have 25 more life, she gets +2. So if you put her down on turn 3 and you haven't taken too many hits and you're still above, you'll probably be above 30 still, she's a 4/4 for 3 mana. I mean, those are the rules of the game. Take advantage of them. Angel of Suffering. There are 3 rings of marriage. The 3 rings of marriage are the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffer ring. So anyway, 3 black for a 5/3. So she's, who's a 3/5 here? She's a 3/5. I was just looking for kind of a balance. You know, this is 5/3, another one is 3/5. So anyway, 3 black for a Nightmare Angel. If damage would be dealt to you, prevent it and mill twice as many cards. So feed your graveyard and then make blood tokens, sacrifice blood tokens, get everybody back. Beat down. So she fuels the beatdown. Also, she prevents damage from being dealt to you. So, problem is, you can mill a lot of cards really quickly with her. You get attacked with, a couple 10/10s, you let them through. It's twice that many cards. So you're not milling 20, you're milling 40. Poof. About that time, that'd be half your deck. But you should put a lot of interesting angels into play. And all you need to do is sacrifice a couple angels to get some blood tokens. If you sacrifice an Angel of Suffering, though, you're only going to get 3. Because remember, it says blood tokens equal to its toughness. All right, Granite and Linvala. 1 black, double white for 3/4. Flying Vigilance. Activated abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. Locked down. Granite and Linvala has all activated abilities all creatures your opponents control, and you can spend mana or mana of any color to activate those abilities. So, even if they have a Bird of Paradise, that's the only creature in the activation cost they have, you can tap them to get a mana of any color. If they have a Vexing Shusher, you can spend whatever mana you have. You can spend mana or mana of any color, and you can make a spell uncounterable. So I've got 2 decks. Do I have 2 decks? Yeah. Edgar Markov has 1. Voya has 1. No, not Voya. Icarus Siddiqui Arcando. Both of them have a Drana and Linvala. And I haven't played those off enough to see Drana and Linvala come out and see how well how often the second ability works to get all activated abilities of my opponent's creatures. I imagine it worked pretty good though. Exemplar of Light. I like this version. I don't like the other version so much. Let me show it to you. Yeah, this one. I don't know. Some of you might like, if you like it and you're going to build a deck and you like that one better, then use it. It's going to be your deck. But as for me, I like this one better. He looks badass. He looks like he's going to fuck somebody up. And how's he going to fuck somebody up? At 2 colorless and white for a 3/3 flyer. When you gain life, he gets +1/+a counter. So the Archangel of Thune, for 1 more mana, is a 3/5, and she puts counters on all your creatures to gain life. This guy, he's selfish. He only gives himself counters. Well, whenever you put 1 or more counters on this creature, draw a card. Once per turn, but if you can make it go off more than once per turn, you can get more cards. Get a Font of Hope. I really like that. I like her wings. Her wings are beautiful. I really want a foil version of this card. For the art, if nothing else, even if I don't build this deck, I want one of these for the art. 1 in a white, and she has Vigilance. Each other angel we control enters with additional +1/+1 counter on it for each angel you already control. And you can tap her to add white, but only for angel spells. So if you get Gyata down, then you get this guy down, he'll be a 4/4, and you get a card. Sounds like a good deal. Hailstorm Valkyrie. I just like that it's an angel wizard. I thought that was funny. So 3 in a black for a 2/2 flying trampler, a snow creature. And if you spend snow mana, she gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And it doesn't have that. A lot of times with commons and uncommons, you'll see it where it says activate this ability only so many times each turn. She doesn't say that. So if you have, say, 8 snowlands out, you can give her +4/+4, make her a 6/6 trampler, in addition to everything else that's going on. So she can surprise some people. Herald of War. So Herald here, which is not a name for a chick, but okay. 3 white for a 3/3 flying. Whenever she attacks, she gets a +1/+. She wants to attack. She wants to beat people. She wants to punch them in the head. And whenever she does, she gets bigger. Angel spells and human spells to cast cost 1 less to cast for each +1/+1 counter on Herald of War. Huh. So if you play Gyata, then you play the Valkyrie, then play Herald, she'll come into play with 2 +1/+. Is it each other? Each angel, all of them. It counts her also. Nice. So she'd be a 5/5, and she'd make all your subsequent angels cost 2 less. So feeds into getting everything out. Karma Guide, 3 white for a 2/2 flying, protection from black. With Echo, yeah, she's got Echo. So if you don't pay her mana cost during your upkeep, you sacrifice her. Which is fine, which is kind of what you want, because when you bring her back out of the graveyard, she'll come back with a friend. When she comes into play, return target creature from graveyard to the battlefield. Not to your hand, not to the top of your library. She says, nope, I'm here. I'm going to resurrect one of my fallen sisters. So she does. Lisa, Forgotten Archangel. This could be kind of dirty in this deck. So 2 black, white for 4/5 lifelinker, flying. Whenever another non-token creature control dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. If creature an opponent controls it dies, exile it instead. So, if you're sacrificing angels to Shilgengar's ability, at the end of the turn, that creature will come back to your hand, meaning you can recast it and do it again. Which she kind of doesn't work for the whole bring everybody back thing, right? But you can always sacrifice her to get 5 blood tokens, and if she's not on the field, her ability is not there to trigger. Righteous Valkyrie. 2 and a white for 2/4 flying angel cleric. Whenever her or another there are no non-angel creatures in the deck except the commander. Shogungar is the only non-angel creature in the whole damn deck, so forget about the cleric part. Whenever another angel comes into play under control, they gain life equal to her toughness. Or his. A couple of these dudes. Not many, a few. As long as you have at least 7 more life than your starting life total, creatures you control get +2/+2. So she comes down early, buffs the team, smashes face. Ray Dawnbringer, 9 mana, 6 triple white for 4/6 flying, angelic legend. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may, if there's one in the graveyard that you want to bring back, return target creature card from graveyard to play. No extra steps, no extra bullshit, no bounce it to your hand in a turn, sacrifice. No, it just comes back into play. So if nothing else, Karmic Guide, you can not pay the echo. She goes to the graveyard. You got Rhea out. Rhea brings back the guide, who brings back somebody else too. Rinse and repeat. Resplendent Angel, because, yeah, of course. Anybody that's played Standard or Arena has seen a lot of this card. So 1 double white for a 3/3 flyer. Beginning of each end step, if you gain 5 or more life this turn, you get another angel. You get a 4/4 white angel creature token flying Vigilance. And if you got Geta out, it's going to be even bigger. I try to build up as many synergies into this as possible because of the fact that so many of these angels cost 5 or more. At least half of them cost 5 or more, which is a lot. Which you could easily get stuck in a position where it's each turn, I cast big dumb creature. I hope it don't die. I wait for my turn. I smash face. You kind of feel like an idiot when you're just casting some big dumb creature each turn, just one, and hoping it doesn't get killed or you don't get overrun by the 29 squirrel tokens that suddenly got overrun, right? So anyway, you can also spend 3 triple white. You can spend 5 to give her a Splendid Angel +2/+2 and lifelink until end turn. Well, I try to put enough other abilities in here, other effects in here, so you don't have to spend the mana, so you can spend it on casting a big dumb thing. 6 mana to activate it, that's a lot. Renegade Reaper. 2 and a black for 2/3. It looks like she's a centaur, doesn't it? Doesn't she look like a fucking centaur flying in the sky? She's a berserker. She's a sky berserker. So anyway, 2 and a black for 2/3 sky berserker. When she hits the battlefield, mill 4 cards. If at least one angel is milled this way, you gain 4 life. Again, throw things in your graveyard for Shilgengar. Shilgengar, yeah. Dire Famine to bring back. Radiant Arcane. she might not be so good. She really doesn't have that many abilities. Okay, so she counts as an angel. Fantastic. She costs 5 mana for a 3/3. Great. Sarah Angel would be better. Except she's vigilant, and she gets +1/+1 for every other creature in flying play. So if your opponents have flying creatures, they buff her. Your entire board buffs her because you've got nothing but flying creatures. And I like the fact that I wanted some throwbacks to the early days. That's why you've got Ray of Dawnbringer in here also, this old invasion version. That's why you've got Radiant, kind of a harkening back to when she was a good card. She's still good in this deck, but I haven't seen her played in a long time. Magister of Earth, 4 black-white, 4/4 for flyer, Will of the Council. When she hits play, starting with you, everybody votes for Grace or Condemnation. If Grace gets more votes, everybody returned all creatures from his or her graveyard to the battlefield. If Condemnation gets more votes, if the vote is tied, destroy all creatures other than her. So, if your graveyard is full, your opponents are probably not going to pick Grace. And if they've got a big board, they're probably not going to want to pick Condemnation. So it's going to put them in a tight spot. Either way, you win. You're done. Because if you lose your board, you've got your Gengar. You can just bring them back when the conditions are right. Except he would be dead because it would destroy all of the creatures, so you'd have to cast him again. And then you'd have to have the 3 mana. So we're talking, if it's the second time he's been cast, so 7 mana to cast him, plus 3, so 10 mana to do it. Which, that's a lot of mana, but it's not impossible. Not by any means. Lyra Dawnbreaker. 3 white for 5/5 flying. First strike, lifelink. Other angels you control get +1/+, and lifelink. She does it all. Rodolph Dustbringer. Rudolph the white-haired angel. So 5 and a black for 4/4 flying. Death touch, lifelink. Not great, but whenever you gain life, he becomes indestructible. Okay. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 and 1 black or white. You pay 2 mana. When you do, return target creature card's mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now, it doesn't say may, so you have to do this. Keep that in mind. You have to. Where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. So, end step, if you gained 5 life, you spend 2 mana, and you get back the Karmic Guide. You get back Radiant. You get back something interesting. So, yeah, he's near the top of the mana curve, but I think he's pretty useful here. Sigavian Angel, 1 white for 1/1 flying Vigilant Angel. Like I said, the deck, it needs some things here just to give you an early creature, because otherwise you're like, I'm going to get overrun. I've got nothing to block with at all. This sucks. Seraph of the Scales. 4 black-white for 4/3. Spend 1 white and she gains Vigilance until the end of the turn. Spend 1 black and she gains Death Touch until the end of the turn. And if she croaks, you get 2 1/1 black and white spirit tokens with flying. So if she dies, you still get something out of it. Sunblast Angel. 4 white. This is why there's only one other board wipe, really, because you can recur her. And yeah, she only destroys all tapped creatures. So 4 white for 4/5 flyer. When she hits play, destroy all tapped creatures. So if your opponents have a lot of vigilance, if opponents don't have that many tapped creatures, she's not going to hit that much. So you want to play around and choose the best moment to bring her into play. Maybe there's something better than her. I don't know. In this version of the deck, she's a good addition. But I would need to explore that more. Valkyrie Harbinger, 4 white for 4/5 flying lifelinker. So she's got the same stats as Sunblessed Angel. She comes with a lifelink. In the beginning of every end step, if you gain 4 more life this turn, you get a 4/4 white angel creature token flying and vigilance. So she's kind of like, who the hell else made the Resplendent Angel? So he says, if you gain 5 life, you get an angel. She says, if you gain 4 life, you get an angel. So if you got them both in play and you get 5 life, you get both. Voice of All. 2 white. When she comes to play, choose a color. She's got protection from the chosen color. So if she dies, you can reset her for a color. Maybe the color's changed. Maybe at the time you play her, you want her to have protection from blue. And then later on, there's some big green threats, so you want to give her protection from green. You just have to get her killed and resurrect her somehow. If only we had a way to do that. Youthful Valkyrie. 1 and a white for a 1/3 angel. Whenever another angel you control enters, she gets a +1/+ encounter. She's just early creature, decent toughness, gets big. She can get big fast. Oh yes. Alright, sorcery. So we have damn. Destroy target creature. Or you could spend 2 white and Day of Judgment. It's not Wrath of God because Wrath of God says you can't reject. Okay, so we were on Damn. Um, the service I'm using to record this is called Clipchamp, Microsoft Clipchamp, and it's limited to only 30 minutes because I'm not going to pay for it. Maybe I should so I can get better quality, but my channel's not making any money, so I'm not putting any money into it. I'm putting time, love, and care and attention, but not much money. Anyway, you can overload Damn to white white, and it becomes Day of Judgment, which, of course, is a worse Wrath of God because Wrath of God says the creatures cannot regenerate. Not that there's a whole lot of regeneration anymore, but we play EDH. We play Commander. So somebody at some point is going to have something that regenerates, and it can bite you in the ass. So maybe you want Wrath of God instead of Damn. I just like that it fits the black-white theme of the deck. Treat the Angels. So triple white, double X, put X 4/4 white angel creature tokens flying on the battlefield, or you can miracle it. If the magic gods shine upon you, and put it on top of your library when you have a lot of mana available. You can cast it for the miracle cost and get a lot of angels, and make your opponents weep as you smash into their faces. Uh, so what's the Starn? Is it just called Starnheim? Yeah, we'll get down to when I'm talking about considering. Okay, instants. Let's look at instants. So Stroke of Midnight, Generous Gift, they're basically the same. They both cost 2 and a white. They both destroy something, and they both give the controller of that something a token. The only differences are Generous Gift can hit lands, and they get a green creature, a green elephant creature. Stroke of Midnight cannot hit lands, but they only get a 1/1 white human creature. So, either way, they do what they do and they say what they do. I just noticed the entire back end of this all costs 3. Lapse is counterspell. 2 and a white, counter target spell. If it's counted this way, put it on top of its owner's library instead of into their graveyard. This is just a little surprise. This is somebody's going to do something that you really don't want them to do, like Torrent of Hailfire. If it was it exsanguinate, yes. If they're going to do something really nasty, you can hold them off for a turn with the lapse of certainty. Are you certain you can do that? I'm not. Ghostway. So you remember the finality counters? So you bring our angels back with finality counters, right? With Shulgengar's ability. The problem is, what if your opponents have an instant speed board wipe that would kill some of them and they'd get exiled? That would suck, wouldn't it? That'd suck ass. I wouldn't like that at all. So you can ghost away, exile all your creatures, and then bring them back to play at the beginning of the next end step. So I looked up finality counters only care if the creature would go to the graveyard. If the creature would get bounced back to your hand, if it would get flickered, anything like that, then the finality it doesn't care. It only cares about graveyard. If the creature would go to the graveyard, instead it's exiled. So we're using it. Flare of Fortitude. It says it costs 2 white white, but it pretty much says get one of your own creatures to save your ass. So you can spend 2 white white for it, or you can sacrifice a non-token white creature instead of paying the spell's mana cost to save your ass. Because until end of turn, your life total can't change, and permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible. Ephemerate. I'm not sure if we don't want more of these effects. I'm not sure if we even need this one. I put it in here because we have the Angel of Despair. We have some angels that come into play triggers, Karmic Guide even. If you want to reset so somebody attacks, you've got Voice of All set for a color that they're not. Like they're attacking you with, I don't know, something really nasty. that's green, and you've got voice vol set to blue. You can flicker it when it comes back into play, change the word to green, and then block away. And then, of course, you exile the spell when it resolves, and during your next upkeep, you can play it again if there's anything you want to do with it. You don't have to, but if you don't, it just stays exiled. So you're better off doing it. Not that the deck really has any way to get it back. Maybe. Remember, I am the recursion king. All of my decks have recursion. All of them. Sometimes for everything, sometimes for a few things. This one has some light recursion for everything. Clever Concealment, 2 white, and you can convoke it. So you can tap your creatures, especially white creatures, instead of paying the mana cost. And your angels have vigilance. If you get into the groove, and you've got things working, and you've got one of the creatures give all your angels vigilance in play, then you can tap them and conceal everybody. So any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. So this is very important for the number of artifacts and enchantments you have. Some of them you don't want to get destroyed, and you can conceal them. Of course, you don't want to waste your concealment either, so it's up to you when you decide to hide things. Arcane Signet, yeah. Cryptic Gateway. I bet a good number of you lads, especially some of you that only started playing Commander over the last few years, have never seen this card and are looking at it thinking, what the fuck is that? It's a narrow card that only works in tribal decks. For 5 mana, you build this Cryptic Gateway. You can tap 2 untapped creatures you control, and then you can put a creature. It says you may. Why wouldn't you? If you're tapping creatures with a fucking ability, why the hell would you put a creature in play, right? So anyway, tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Put a creature card from your hand into play that shares a creature type with each creature tapped this way. Your deck is 1 demon, everybody else is an angel. And it doesn't say non-token. So those token creatures you made with what the fuck are they called? Resplendent Angel and the Valkyrie Harbinger, you can tap them. You can tap your token creatures and put your big bad bitches into play. So, end of somebody's turn, or in response to an attack, you can tap 2 of your smaller angels to put down Archangel Avacyn, to put down Ray of Dawnbringer, put down some big threat. And then, if you still have 2 angels, you can tap them and put in. It's diminishing returns, but it does let you play your creatures for free. Free is good. There's the recursion, Elixir of Immortality. 1, to build it. 2, tap it, you gain 5 life. And then you shuffle it and your graveyard in the library. So play this early in the game and just keep 2 mana sitting around because you're playing out of your graveyard. Your plan is kind of, now, your plan might change. Your plan might be just, I've got enough angels. I'll just beat these guys because I don't need to bring them back out of the graveyard. I'm just wrecking them as it is in the air. But since your plan is to play creatures out of the graveyard with Shogungar's ability and get them back and recur things, what you want to do is play this and always keep 2 mana available. Always, always, always. Because if you get Bajuka bogged with your shields down, there go all the angels you've been throwing into your graveyard. Remember, you've got 2 angels that mill you. So, in the example where you mill 40 cards, if somebody bogs you and you don't have your shields up, it kind of sucks. Now, of course, if you mill the Elixir of Immortality and it's in your graveyard, well, you just can't do anything about that. Sometimes shit happens. Nyx Lotus, 4 to build it, comes into play. Tap it, choose white, because almost everything is white in this deck. Add amount of white equal to your devotion to white. Pearl Medallion, all your white spells cost 1 less to play. Other than the artifacts and a very few creatures, pretty much everything in here is white. So even though this is a dual colored deck, It's weighted so heavily towards one of the colors. I feel this is justified. If you feel differently, then just replace it with some other mana rock. Quicksilver Amulet, 4 mana to cast it, 4 mana to use it, choose creature in hand, throw it into play. Instant speed. Another way of cheating out this high casting cost. Scroll Rack, 2, and then 1, tap it, choose any number of cards in your hand, set those aside. Pull an equal number of cards off the top of your library and look at them. Put them in your hand. Then put the cards set aside, the initial cards, on top of your library any way you want. You've got a lot of high casting cost creatures in here. You also have land tax in here. So if you've been land taxing and you have a lot of lands, you can still only play 1 per turn. So what you can do is, of course, scroll rack them away and draw things ideally more useful. Or if you have 3 or 4 angels in your hand that you're not going to be able to cast for a few turns because of the mana situation, well, just rack them away and pull something better. Maybe you pull Talisman of Hierarchy to get get your mana rocks working. Maybe you pull Sword of Cinnamon Steel so you can equip it to Sophigofian Angel, and she's a 3/3 protection from black and red. And not only that, when she deals combat damage to somebody, to one of your opponents, to one of the poor bastards that sat across from you and thought that you were going to play on the ground. Nope, your shit flies. You can blow up an artifact on Planeswalker, and it doesn't have to be controlled by the guy you actually punch in the face, which is pretty cool. I like that. I liked it a lot. I was talking to Genie about it, and he's not so sure about it. He doesn't think it's all that great. Oh. When is there not some artifact that, even if you sideswipe it, even if it's an innocent bystanding drive-by shooting, you blow up one of your opponent's artifacts and push them back a little bit, advance your own position. Speaking of that, so we also have Sword of Hearth and Home. 3 to build it. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, protection from green and from white. And whenever it smacks one of your opponents, you get to flicker one of your creatures, and then go find a land, basic land, put it in play tapped. So this is another way of... Now, if you don't need the flickering, you can always replace this with Sword of the Animist. Sword of the Animist is when it attacks. When the creature attacks, you go find the basic land, put it in play tapped. I like this for the added utility of the protection. I believe Sword of the Animist is cheaper to cast. I believe it costs the same to equip, and it only gives the creature +1/+1. I haven't. I've got a couple of decks with them, but it's not a card I have a great deal of experience with. It's not like Aura Stronghold, which I've got in 9 different decks. Soul Ring, which I have in almost all my decks. So 1 to build it, tap it for 2. Yeah, Soul Ring. Everybody knows what it is. Shaman's Angelic Accord. 3 to white. Beginning of every instep. If you gain 4 more life this turn, you get a 4/4 white angel creature token of flying. Not vigilance. That's important because some of the tokens have vigilance, some of them don't. So you have to keep them separated. You have to remember what's going on, which can get tricky. So I was going to say more about it, but let's just keep going. Ascent to the Worthy. I'm not sure if the deck really wants this card, but it kind of seems like it'd be useful. So 1 black-white for a Saga. Step 1 and 2 are choose creature control. Until your next turn, all damage will be dealt to creature's control is dealt to it instead. So you choose a martyr. So step 1 and 2 are you choose a martyr. And if your creatures take any damage, instead the martyr takes all the damage for your entire team. Not for you. You're still stuck getting hurt, but your creatures. In the stage 3, return target creature card from graveyard to the battlefield with a flying counter on it. Not that any of your angels need a flying counter. And the creature also becomes an angel warrior in addition to its other types. Yeah, so It's 2 stages of martyrdom and then resurrection. Land tax. For 1 mana, during upkeep, if the opponent controls more land than you, you can go search a library, pull 3 basic land cards out of your library, look at them, put them in your hand, shuffle your library. Yeah. So it's not really card draw. It thins lands out of your card draw. When you have card draw, you're hoping you draw cards that are actually useful and impactful in the game. Not that lands are not useful and impactful, but at a certain point, you don't want to see your more lands. You want to see your angels. You want to see your artifacts. You want to see your instants. But if you pull the lands out, obviously the percentage of lands drop versus everything else, so you have a higher chance of getting them. Plus, if you have a full hand, because you land tax, so you pull 3 lands out of your hand, out of your library, you have them in your hand, land tax. You activate Scroll Rack. You can put 2 of those lands back, along with some other things, and see if you draw anything else better. And the more land you pull out of your library, the more chances you're going to draw something better. Luminarch Ascension, 1 and a white. At the beginning of every opponent's end step, if you did not lose life this turn, you may put a quest counter in Luminarch Ascension. The thing about this is, so you have to have 4 quest counters on it. So it has to sit for 1 turn cycle, and each opponent cannot deal. Now, they can attack you, you can block. As long as it didn't actually hit you, as long as you didn't lose life, then you get a quest counter. And then it's your turn, and you still have to go at least one other guy's turn in order to get the 4 quest counters this demands. And when you have 4 quest counters, you can just spend 1 in a white and you get a 4/4 white angel creature token flying. Not vigilance, just flying. So kind of like the angelic accord. Rampage of the Valkyries. So when this comes into play, 3 black white. You get a 4/4 white angel token with flying and vigilance. So angelic accord, no vigilance. Ascension, no vigilance. Rampage of the Valkyries, oh, bang, vigilance, snap, nice. And whenever an angel we control dies, each of the players sacrifices a creature. So this comes into play, you get an angel, and then it becomes a Grave Pact for you. So it's basically, in this deck, this replaces any idea of playing Grave Pact or Dictate of Erebos. Those would be just extra in this deck when you've got Rampage of the Valkyries. And then we have a game changer, Smothering Tithe. Because all your shit's expensive. You really do need the treasure tokens. So 3 and a white, whenever an opponent draws a card, if they don't pay 2, you get a treasure token. Lands. Let's check the bracket info right quick. So there's only 1 game changer in the whole deck, Smothering Tithe. I didn't put Vampiric Tutor, didn't put Demonic Tutor. I was thinking of having other card draw, thinking of Phyrexian Arena, but as it is, it's pretty tight, and I think it's got good synergy. I think it's a decent build. Obviously, if you go up for, did it call it bracket 3? Yeah, upgraded. If you go against a bracket 4 deck, you're probably going to get your ass handed to you. If you played a solid bracket 3, you'd be doing all right. So what do we have for lands? We have Bonder's Enclave. It taps for colorless or 3 tap, draw a card. Activate only if you control creature power 4 or greater. That is not going to be a problem for you. No. Cabal Coffers, 2 tap. Add black for every swamp you control, and of course, Urborg Tomb Yawgmoth, which goes to the I'm going to have a sip of beer. Hang on. Okay. So, yes. Coffers in here because Urborg is in here, because Coffers is in here. Castle Ardenvale. I just thought this is low-hanging fruit. So it comes to play tap unless you have a plains. And then taps for white, or you can spend 2 white and get a 1/1 white human creature token. There, we'll wait till I get to considering talk about that more. So, Kids of Koilos, Black White Painland, Emeria the Sky Ruin comes into play tapped. Beginning of your upkeep, if you have 7 more planes, you may return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It just comes into play. Um, no other bullshit. Of course, you have to get to excuse me. You have to get to 7 planes first, but eh, the risk is worth the reward. Got the Shrine. I kind of like this. I kind of like this art from this Cludio. I mean, it doesn't really look like a shrine. It certainly looks godless. Play with whatever you want. Marsh Flats. I like this art too. So when I was putting, I don't own that godless shrine. I don't own this Marsh Flats. But whenever I build one of these decks online, whenever I build it in Moxfield, I always look at the different arts and see if I was going to build this deck, any cards I don't already own, I look at the versions I would want within reason. Because they do have this version for €200. I'm not spending €200 on a fucking Marsh Flats. Hell no. That's insane. But 30? That's just the cost of 2 Marsh Flats. I mean, you're paying double to get pretty guard. Temple of False God. It's kind of an angel deck, kind of religious theme. You got a demon in charge. Temple of False God, why not? If you got 5 lands, it taps for 2 colorless. The deck only has 2 swamps. Land tax will help you get to them. I am not quite sure if I don't have enough sources of black here. I'm thinking with Caves Coilos, Godless Shrine, Marsh Flats, which will find the Godless Shrine, Orsa Basilica, Vault of Champions, Silent Clearing, Urborg. With all that, 2 snow-covered swamps might be enough. If you actually build this deck and it's not, fix it. Take a couple of these 20 planes out and add a couple more swamps. But I think it should run fine. Silent Clearing. It's a permanent paint. It's basically a City of Brass for black and white. But you can spend 1 mana, sacrifice a draw card. Orsa Basilica. Of course, the black-white Karoo land comes into play. Bounce the land big. I didn't put a Bojuka Bog in here. Huh. I completely forgot about Bojuka Bog. Does the deck need a Bojuka Bog? It doesn't have any of the way of exiling graveyard. Huh. Yeah, I'll fix it later. Nycto, Shrine and Nex. 2 tap, choose a color. Probably white. Add an amount of mana to that color equal to your devotion to the color. Beautiful. Spend 1 mana, becomes a 2/2 creature with all creature types still in a turn and still a land. So you can just spend 1 mana and bang, you've got another angel. You can do angel tricks. You can use him to unlock the Cryptic Gateway. Urborg, yeah, it's here because of coffers. We already said that. Coffers is here because of Urborg. We said that too. Urza's Cave. 3 taps, sacrifice Urza's Cave. If you've got a bunch of white things, go find Nykthos. If you've got coffers, go find Urborg. If you've got Urborg, go find coffers. If you have 7 planes, go find Emeria. Do what you gotta do, man. Vault of the Champions. I don't own any of these. What are they called? Bond lands. I don't own any of these. But if I were going to build this deck, I'd put one in here. I should get these for my dual color decks, like Edric, Spy Master of Trust. He could really use one of these for blue-green, obviously. It comes in play tap, lets you have 2 or more opponents. So in a 4-man game, if nobody's been killed, obviously is going to come and play untapped. For a Stronghold, because why not? I love this card. I only own 1 black deck, besides the 2 precons, that doesn't have one. And it's simply because I haven't bought one yet. I do intend to buy one for that deck. Then I would have 10 strongholds because I like it. And it's a reserve list card. So it's not as if it's going to lose value in the now it spiked during the COVID craziness when everything was spiking, but then went back and you see it's down €55. 55 euros, not $100. I don't buy it somewhere else in the card kingdom. But what do you get? So one in black, put target creature card from graveyard and tap your library. So if there's a creature you sacrificed for Shilgengar, or let's say you've got him in play and somebody casts board wipe, somebody casts Wrath of God, somebody casts Blasphemous Act, and he dies. Well, you don't have to put him back in the command zone. If you've got Vorwa Stronghold, just put him in your graveyard and then put him back on top of your library and draw him, and you don't have to pay the tax. No commander tax for you. Nope. Don't pay your taxes. Of course, if you tell the IRS you're not going to pay your taxes, they're going to beat your ass. So keep that in mind. All right, these are the cards I was considering for the deck. Zera, the Benevolent. 2 white, creature +2, creatures control get flying until end of turn. -3, you get another 4/4 ancient creature token of flying and vigilance. -6, you get a worship emblem. As long as you have a creature, any damage of reduces your life total less than 1, reduces it to 1 instead. So she comes into play, you give all your creatures flying +1/+1 till end of turn. Next turn, you can immediately sacrifice her for the emblem, if you want. Aegis Angel, 4 white, 5/5 flyer. She comes into play. Another target permanent is indestructible as long as you have her. Angel of Destiny. This is probably a very good addition to the deck. I don't like the alternate win condition. I would rather play the deck with the focus on the combat damage and on getting the angels in play than this. So 3 white for 2/6 flying double striker. Whenever creature control deals combat damage to player, you and that player each gain that much life. Beginning of your end step, if you have at least 15 life more than your starting total, each player Angel of Destiny attacked this turn loses the game. So if you start at 40. If you go 55, 60, which is not, it shouldn't be too hard in this deck. All you have to do is attack somebody with this. You don't have to connect. You don't have to no hoops. I'm at 60 life. I'm going to attack you at the end of the turn. You lose the game because I have 15 life more than my starting life total. I don't know. I just don't like that. It sounds. If you're playing bracket 4, yeah, put it in there. Angel of Jubilation. 1 triple white, 3/3. Other non-black creatures scroll get +1/+1. Wow, that sounds really good. Players can't pay life or sacrifice creatures to cast spells or activate ability. Huh. So that sounds like it would really stab us right in the ass. We can't sacrifice creatures and activate abilities. So we can't sacrifice creatures to activate Shilly unless I'm reading wrong. Hang on. Sacrifice another creature, create a blood token. Yep, that's an ability. So she would just nerf the whole deck. I did think about it though. Cleaving Reaper, 3 black for 5/3 flying trampler. Pay 3 life, return her from your graveyard to your hand. Only if you had an angel or berserker come into play under your control this turn. She seemed like for the payoff, a 5/3 flyer, and that you can resurrect pretty easily, or return. It just didn't seem worth the inclusion. But I did think about her. Exalted Angel. I thought of her because you could play her morph. You could play her face down for 3 colorless mana as a 2/2 nothing. And then for 2 white white, you can flip her over into a 4/5 flying lifelinker. So if you start playing this deck, this is going to be a long video. Friday to splice together another section. So, as I was saying, if you build this deck and you don't have enough early creatures, then go ahead and put Exalted Angel in there. 3 colorless, player face down is 2/2 creature, flip her over into 4/5 lifelinker for 4. That's not too bad. She's cheap. I mean, this version is 30 euros, but if you look at the other versions, how much is an Onslaught version? Oh, they've got this 30th anniversary promo for the Fault Angels is €1.48. Wow, really? The Onslaught version is 20 euros? That can't be right. Is that right? That sounds nuts. Why the hell is she worth 20 euros? And the Murders of Karlov Mana reprint with the same art is half €1. Wow. Okay. Huh. Okay, well, go for the cheap version. Radiance, her Archangel. 6 and a white. So she's just a 6/4 flyer. You can tap another end-tap creature control flying, and she gains protection from the color of your choice until end turn. For her mana cost, it just didn't seem like she'd be that useful. I did think about her, did consider it, but I don't know. It's just the deck's tight. Got to make cuts. Resolute Archangel, 5 white white for 4 for flyer. When she comes into play, for life totals less than your starting life total, it becomes your starting life total. You've got a lot of lifelink in here, so I don't think you need a 7 mana 4/4 that just resets your life total back to 40. Just gain life, quit screwing around. Windshaper Planetar, 4 and a white for 4/4 flashy flyer. When he flashes into play during the declare attacker step, for every attacking creature, you may reselect which player or planeswalker that creature is attacking. This guy would probably be a good addition. I don't really know what I would take out for him. But that flash him into play, and then you're attacking who? No, you're attacking that. You're attacking him. You're attacking him, and you're attacking that planeswalker over there. Yeah, kill Garruk. Thank you. That seems like it'd be pretty useful. All right, for instance, thought of Teferi's Protection, decided Ghostway is better. 2 and a white, till your next turn, your life total can't. So this protects you and phases out all your stuff. So you're just not really. There are things that can affect you, like you can get poison counters put on you still and shit like that. But in general, you just step out for a turn. All your stuff steps out for a turn. It just seemed to be that Ghostway might be more useful, because then you reset your creatures. For example, the finality counters that some of them might have. Your enter the battlefield abilities will re-trigger, and so on. Same with Semester's End. If you don't like Clever Concealment, or you don't want to spend the money for it, because it's not a cheap card, I understand that. Semester's End is an acceptable substitute. So instead of phasing out the creatures, no, the non-land permanents, this only hits your creatures. Clever Concealment can conceal, like we talked about, your artifacts and enchantments. So Semester's End, 3 and a white, instantly exile any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers you control. Beginning the next end step, they come back into play under their owner's control with an additional +1/+1 encounter if it's a creature, additional loyalty it's a planeswalker. I found that additional +1/+1 encounter on creatures is often quite useful. There it is, Wrath of God, 2 white white. Bury all creatures. That's what it says. I know that it doesn't look like that's what it says, but that's what it says. Bury all creatures. Starnheim Unleashed. You could easily have this in here with um, Entreat the Angels. Is that what it's called? I've never actually played that card ever. I don't even know if I own a copy of Entreat the Angels. So anyway, you could easily have this in here along with it. It's just so Entreat the Angels. The miracle cost is 2 white and then X. For every X, you get an angel. The foretell cost is 1 white, double X. So you still have to spend 2 mana for each angel. So it seems to me that Entreat the Angels is a better option if you have to choose. It's up to you. Finale of Glory. Let me just skip down to something right quick. So I thought about Divine Visitation's deck, but then I started taking out a lot of the token generators in order to have more creatures. Because Sogengar, he doesn't care about tokens. He doesn't give a shit. Unless you sacrifice him, then he gives you blood tokens. You trade angel tokens for blood tokens, okay, then he cares. But he's not going to bring them back to the graveyard. So I started cutting out some of the token generators. If you are going to put Finale of Glory and some of the other token generating effects in here, you might go ahead and put in Divine Visitation, which is a 3 white enchantment. If you create any creature tokens, instead, they come into play as 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance. So here, if you have Finale of Glory, 2 white X, create X 2/2 white soldier creature tokens with vigilance. If X is 10 or more, also create that X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance. So if you have Divine Visitation and you cast Finale of Glory for 12, you get 20 angels. Otherwise, you get 10 soldiers and 10 angels. But Divine Visitation, if you have that in play, those soldiers, they get beefy and fly. Devout Invocation, 6 and white, tap any number of tapped creatures you control. Put a 4/4 white angel creature token of flying onto the battle, not vigilant, just flying. Again, it's not consistent. Onto the battlefield for each creature tapped this way. I don't really see how you're going to have that many creatures in play that make this useful. So you spend 7 mana, and I'm picturing in my head, and I've gone through the Moxfield deck play feature. Even if you have 6 creatures, if you tap them, okay, so you get 6/4 angel creature tokens, but you spent 7 mana. There's a lot of other things the deck can do for 7 mana, and it's only a sorcery. Now, if it was an instant, oh my god, it was instant, it would be in the deck, but it's not. So it's not. Mana Rocks, 1 Power Stone, 3 to cast it, comes to play tapped. You can tap for 2 colorless after you can figure out how to untap it. Thran Dynamo costs 4 to cast it, but it taps immediately for 3 colorless mana. With all the angels in here, all the high cast cost stuff, it could be that one of these is needed in the deck. It could be there's not enough Mana Rocks. Sword of Light and Shadow, Sword and Feast of Famine, they both cost 3 to cast, they both cost 2 to equip. This gives creature protection with black and white, protection with black and green. When the equipped creature smacks one of your opponents, you get to raise dead and gain 3 life. When the smacks your opponent, they throw away a card and you get to untap all your lands. Nice. Yep. Nature's Will. Nature's Will is the one where if a creature you control connects with one of your opponents, they tap all their lands and you tap all yours. It's a green enchantment, so it can't be in this deck. Swift of Boots. The deck has no haste. None. I just there's so much that could go in here. I didn't know. Yeah, I had to cut something. So boots, of course, 2 to cast it. Equip creature gets hexproof and haste. Equip 1. Yeah, everybody knows the boots. Moonsilver Spear. So this is on point with the deck. This is on point for the theme. Um, it's from Avison. It's got, you know, her symbol on a spear. 4 to cast it. Equipped creature has first strike. No other buffs, just first strike. Whenever it attacks, you get a 4 for a white angel creature token flying. It seemed to me to cast her for 4, equip for 4. Okay, yeah, the creature gets first strike, but no other abilities, no other buffs. And yes, you do get a angel creature token that doesn't exile itself, that sticks around. So every time that creature attacks, you get another angel creature token. But this, you don't have any extra combat steps. Aurelia is white red, so she can't be in this deck. And it just seemed to be almost almost good enough, but not quite. Okay, Master's Map, 2 and a white. When it comes to play, go find 2 basic planes, show them to everybody, put them in your hand, shuffle. Whenever land enters the battlefield under opponent's control, if they have more lands than you, you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So it's kind of like burgeoning with a limited land tax. But the problem is, burgeoning, it doesn't count your opponent's lands. It's just like, hey, they played a land. You have a land in your hand, you can put it down if you want. This is, hey, your opponent played a land. Do you want to put, wait, first count. Okay, they have 6 lands, you have 7. Sorry, sucks being you. You don't get to put a free land down. Cathar's Crusade, this is not here because of memory issues. You have too many tokens to put +1 plus encounters. And on those tokens, every time you put a creature into play, and they keep track, and then resolve all your triggers, it's just a pain in the ass. So unless you're playing Brack 4, don't do it. Court of Grace, 2 white comes to play, you become the monarch. You are anointed. Beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token flying. If you're the monarch, instead, you get a 4/4 angel creature token with flying, no vigilance. Again, not consistent. So if you put Court of Grace in, if you put the other token generators, like I said, Divine Visitation, but it's not a token deck. It's just Entreat the Angels is in here to give you more board presence, to let you go a little bit wider. But tokens are not really your strategy. So if you start pursuing tokens in this deck, token generation, you're deviating from what Shulgingar actually wants to do. But if that's what you want to do, it's your deck. Go ahead. Castle Lochthwain comes to play tapped unless you have a swamp. 1 black, tap it, draw a card. Then you lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. I don't know. This would be an easy inclusion, but losing the life, that's the thing. Or maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it's perfect for the deck. I don't know. High market. Um, no, you're not going to Swords Plowshares, Archangel Avison. I'm going to send her to the high market instead, gain 1 life, and then I'm going to use the Karma Guide and bring her ass back into play. Try again. Condolan Outpost comes to play, sacrifice planes or bury it. Spend 1 to white, get a soldier creature token. Again, took out Divine Visitation, so I took this out. Mirrored Landscape. This might be useful in the deck to help find those swamps. I'm not sure, like I said, if I don't have sufficient swamps and lands to produce both colors to make the deck operate. If you don't, put another swamp, put this in there. So 2 tap, sacrifice it, go find 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them on a battlefield, tap, and shuffle. It'd be really nice if it didn't say that they have to share a land type, but it does, so we're stuck with it. Thawing Glaciers is just slow, but reliable. Comes to play tapped. 1, tap it, search library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle, and then bounce on glaciers back to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. So you can play it again tapped on your turn, wait another turn to untap it, and pull them. So every other turn, it will find you a land. And all it costs you is your land drop. But it's incredibly reliable. 3 Tree City comes to play. Choose Angel. Obviously, if you don't choose Angel, you're not doing it right with this deck. 2, choose a color. Add an amount of mana to that color equal to the number of creatures you control with the chosen type. The reason I didn't leave 3 Tree City in here is I don't know how useful it's going to be. I already have Urborg, Tube Yawgmoth. Already have Nykthos, so Urborg doesn't. No, sorry, Cabal Coffers. You have Cabal Coffers and Nykthos. Cabal Coffers does nothing. Nothing at all. Unless you have Urborg. Effectively nothing. What are you going to do? Get one swamp and go to the shrine, spend 2, tap Cabal Coffers, get 2. Maybe it could be you need to do that. That is possible that you need to do that. I've done that before to get that extra black. But if you only have 4 or 5 angels, so this comes, it produces colorless. Nykthos produces colorless. You need the colors. So if you find you're getting enough angels and you're getting enough color, then yeah, 3 Tree City, slot it right in. Tower of the Magistrate, this is just funny. I just like it. 1 tap, target creature gains protection from artifacts until end of turn. So that little goblin running after you with the Sword of Feast and Famine, Sword of Fire and Ice, Sword of Smack Yo Mama, and Darksteel Plate. Hey, look, he's got protection artifacts. He drops all that stuff, but he's still running at you. And block him with an angel, kill him. So anyway, that's the deck, Monsieur ConnorSapphire. What do you think? Do you like it? Did I again? I apologize for taking so damn long and for making this video so damn long. But I hope you like it. And actually, I'm thinking this might be really fun to play. So let's cut off private, and there we go. Time to post it. Where is my stop?